Welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most dramatic moments in recent political television history, Donald Trump storming off a Fox News interview after a brutal argument with none other than George Stephanopoulos. That's right, you heard it correctly, George Stephanopoulos, the sharp-tongued anchor from ABC, somehow found himself in the hot seat on Fox News, clashing with the former and perhaps future president in a way that's left the media world reeling. Picture this. The studio lights blazing down on the iconic Fox News set, the red and blue graphics flickering like a heartbeat monitor on steroids, and there sits Donald Trump, his trademark red tie slightly askew, ready to defend his administration's latest moves on border security and economic triumphs. But across from him, unexpectedly inserted into the mix perhaps as a guest panelist or a surprise crossover debate segment, is George Stephanopoulos, known for his relentless probing on This Week, now face-to-face with Trump on enemy territory. The interview starts innocently enough, with host Sean Hannity tossing softballs about the roaring success of the latest trade deals with China, how unemployment has plummeted under Trump's policies, and the so-called fake news witch hunts that have plagued his presidency. Trump leans into the microphone, his voice booming with that familiar New York bravado, recounting tales of how he single-handedly turned around the economy post-pandemic, firing off statistics like confetti at a rally, a GDP growth at 4.2%, stock market highs unseen in decades, and millions of jobs reclaimed from overseas factories. The audience at home, tuned in on their living room screens or streaming on their phones during commutes, nods along, feeling that surge of patriotic pride that only Trump can ignite. But then, like a thunderclap in a clear sky, Stephanopoulos interjects. "Mr. President," he says coolly, adjusting his glasses with that professorial poise, "while those numbers are impressive on paper, let's talk about the human cost at the border." Reports from credible sources indicate that your border czar, Tom Homan, was caught on an FBI surveillance tape accepting $50,000 in cash from undercover agents posing as executives seeking government contracts. "Isn't this the very corruption you promised to drain from the swamp?" The studio falls silent for a beat, the kind of silence that echoes louder than words. Trump's eyes narrow, his fingers drumming on the table like a metronome of mounting fury. Hannity tries to pivot, chuckling nervously. "George, we're here to celebrate wins, not rehash old smears." But Trump waves him off, leaning forward with the intensity of a lion spotting prey. "George, you slimy little operator, you think you can come into my Howzy Fox News, for God's sake, and peddle this garbage? That tape is as fake as your ratings at ABC." Tom Homan is a patriot, a hero who's locked down that border tighter than Fort Knox. "I've known Tom for years, the man's incorruptible. This is just another hit job from the deep state, leaked by sore losers in the FBI who can't stand that we're winning." Stephanopoulos doesn't flinch. Instead, he counters with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. "With all due respect, Mr. President." The audio is crystal clear. Homan's voice, the rustle of bills, the agent's questions about kickbacks for deportation contracts. "It's not a smear, it's evidence, and your refusal to address it head-on only fuels the fire. The American people deserve transparency, not deflection." The argument escalates from there, voices rising like a symphony turning to cacophony. Trump pounds the table, accusing Stephanopoulos of being a Clinton crony, dredging up old wounds from the 1990s Whitewater scandals and Stephanopoulos' days as a White House advisor. "You were Bill's lapdog, George, spinning lies about Monica while the economy tanked under your watch. Now you're here, trying to sabotage me because I'm the one fixing what you and your pals broke." Stephanopoulos fires back, his tone even but laced with steel. "This isn't about the past, sir, it's about now. Your administration's opacity on ethics violations undermines the very democracy you claim to protect. If Homan's innocent, release the full context of that meeting, approve it." The back and forth becomes a verbal cage match, with Hannity caught in the crossfire, his attempts at mediation falling flat as producers in the control room scramble to decide whether to cut to commercial or let it burn. Viewers across the nation, from bustling New York apartments to quiet Midwest farmhouses, glue themselves to the screen, phones buzzing with texts and social media exploding in real-time reactions. Hashtags like #Trump vs. George and #Fox meltdown trend within minutes, memes flooding timeline as a Trump scowl photoshopped onto WWE wrestlers, Stephanopoulos as a gladiator thumbing down the emperor. Trump, red-faced and unyielding, launches into a tirade about media bias, how ABC paid him $16 million to settle a defamation suit over the E. Jean Carroll case, yet here Stephanopoulos is, biting the hand that feeds. You settled because you knew I was right, George. And now you're back for round 2, but on Fox. This is trespassing on truth. The host interjects again, but Trump steamrolls. No more questions from you. Fake news. You're a nasty person. A low-energy lightweight who couldn't hack it in real estate or reality TV. I built an empire, you built spin rooms. The tension peaks as Stephanopoulos presses one last time. Mr. President, dodging accountability isn't leadership, it's evasion. The tape exists, the public knows. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back. Trump yanks off his microphone, the cord whipping like a lash, and stands abruptly, chair scraping against the floor like nails on a chalkboard. Interview over. This is rigged, folks, rigged from the start. He storms toward the exit, flanked by Secret Service agents who materialize from the shadows, his entourage scrambling to keep pace. The camera lingers on the empty chair, Hannity stammering apologies to viewers, promising to unpack it all after the break. But the damage is done. The clip goes viral instantly, dissected by pundits on every network from CNN's Situation Room to MSNBC's The Beat. What started as a routine Fox appearance devolves into a masterclass in political theater, reminding us all why Trump remains the ultimate showman and unpredictable, unapologetic, and utterly unforgettable. As the screen fades to ads for heartburn medication, ironic, given the indigestion this caused, questions swirl. Was Stephanopoulos invited as a gotcha, or did tensions boil over organically? Either way, it's a moment etched in infamy, a clash of titans that exposes the raw underbelly of American discourse. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the fallout, but for now, let's rewind to the buildup, because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Trump's relationship with the press has always been combative, a love-hate tango where he courts cameras like suitors yet eviscerates them as enemies. From his rally roasts of fake news to Twitter feuds that became legend, Trump's media playbook is equal parts charm, offensive, and scorched earth. Stephanopoulos, with his Ivy League Polish and prosecutorial style, represents the archetype Trump despises, the elite inquisitor, armed with facts and unafraid to wield them. Their paths have crossed before ya in 2019, during that marathon ABC sit-down where Trump mused about accepting foreign dirt on opponents, sparking Mueller report firestorms anew. But this Fox incursion, it's unprecedented, a breach in the firewall where Trump feels safest among friendly faces like Hannity and Ingraham. Whispers in D.C. corridors suggest it was a ratings ploy, pitting lion against lion to boost viewership amid cable news wars, and boy, did it deliver. Nielsen numbers would later confirm a spike rivaling Super Bowl pre-games. As Trump barrels down the hallway, aides trailing like ducklings, he mutters to an advisor, "That guy's a disaster, total disaster. Call the lawyers, we're suing for ambush." Back in the studio, Stephanopoulos sits stone-faced, mic still hot, quipping dryly, "Well, that escalated quickly." Laughter ripples through the crew, but the gravity sinks in. This isn't just drama, it's democracy in action, accountability crashing against authority like waves on a cliff. Viewers, divided as ever, split into camps, a half cheering Trump's exit as righteous fury, the other half decrying it as thin-skinned tyranny. Social media becomes a battlefield, with Trump loyalists flooding with fire emojis and calls for boycotts, while critics share slow-mo gifs of the mic drop, captioning King Lear meets The Apprentice. Pundits pile on. Rachel Maddow calls it vintage Trump, a rage as reflex, while Tucker Carlson laments the PC police invading Fox. But beneath the spectacle lies substance. The Homan scandal, rooted in a September 2024 FBI sting, alleges influence peddling in immigration enforcement, a nerve Trump guards jealously. Homan, the hardline enforcer behind family separations and mass deportations, embodies Trump's zero-tolerance ethos, making any whiff of scandal a direct threat to the MAGA brand. Stephanopoulos' Cambridge dropping the bomb mid-flow forced the issue into the open, bypassing scripted segments for unfiltered truth-seeking. Trump's retort, laced with personal barbs, reveals the man, wounded by past defeats, defiant in the face of scrutiny. As he reaches his limo outside the Fox headquarters, engines humming in wait, Trump pauses for the inevitable press gaggle. Handfuls of reporters from rival outlets, notebooks poised like spears. "What happened in there, Mr. President?" one shouts. Trump turns, golden hair catching the floodlights, and delivers a soliloquy. "It was beautiful, folks, beautiful." George came in swinging lies, but I hit back harder. "The people know the truth, they always do. We're making America great, and no slimy anchor changes that." Flashes pop like gunfire, capturing the essence, unbowed, unbreakable. Inside the vehicle, as it peels away toward Mar-a-Lago or wherever sanctuary calls, Trump scrolls his feed, liking supporter posts, firing off a Truth Social blast, just crushed fake news on their own turf. Stephanopoulos exposed a ratings gold. #MAGA. The post garners millions of views overnight, cementing the narrative on his terms. Meanwhile, back at Fox, producers huddle in crisis mode, weighing apologies versus spin. Hannity, ever the loyalist, goes live post-break. "Folks, that was intense real talk in real time. President Trump doesn't back down from bullies, and neither do we." Cut to analysts, Kayleigh McEnany nodding vigorously. "George crossed a line, this was sabotage." Across the dial, Jake Tapper on CNN smirks. "Trump's allergy to tough questions strikes again as storm off number 47. The echo chamber amplifies, fracturing reality into partisan prisms. But let's zoom out. This kerfuffle isn't isolated. It's the latest in a saga of Trump-Stephanopoulos skirmishes, from 2016 debates where George's fact-checks drew blood to 2020 election nights dissecting fraud claims. Each encounter peels back layers, revealing a presidencia or post-presidencia fueled by grievance and grit. For Trump supporters, it's validation, the system's rigged, and he's the wrecking ball. For detractors, it's exhaustion, endless drama distracting from policy voids. As the night wears on, late-night hosts Pancia Jimmy Kimmel quips, "Trump stormed off so fast, he left his comb-over behind." While serious outlets like the New York Times run deep dives, the Fox fiasco, when crossover journalism collides with combustible egos. By dawn, congressional hearings loom. Democrats demand Homan testify, Republicans cry foul on media overreach. Trump, ever the phoenix, teases a counter-interview on OAN, promising the real story, unfiltered. And so the cycle spins, a perpetual motion machine of outrage and rebuttal. In this maelstrom, one truth endures: politics as entertainment, where exits stage left pack more punch than soliloquies. Trump's storm off, not defeat, but declaration, a mic drop for the ages, echoing through the annals of cable combat. As we transition to the broader implications, consider how this moment reshapes alliances. Fox, once Trump's fortress, now tainted by the intrusion. ABC gleeful in the chaos, ratings soaring. Stephanopoulos, villain to some, hero to others, solidifies his rep as the press's pit bull. And Trump, he thrives in the tempest, converting controversy to currency. Buckle up, America, this is just the opening act in an encore no one saw coming. Fast forward to the immediate aftermath, where the corridors of power buzz like a kicked hornet's nest, and Donald Trump's explosive exit from that Fox News studio reverberates far beyond the Beltway echo chamber. Picture the control room at Fox headquarters in Midtown Manhattan, monitors flickering with split screens of the frozen frame. Trump's chair vacant, microphone dangling like a newsie while executives pace, phones glued to ears, barking orders to spin doctors and legal teams. Cut the feed? No. Roll tape. This is gold. One producer hisses, eyes gleaming with the cold calculus of viewership metrics. Outside, paparazzi swarm the loading docks, lenses trained on every black SUV, hoping for a glimpse of the man who just turned a routine sit-down into a ratings Armageddon. Trump's motorcade slices through traffic, sirens whooping faintly, as he dials J.D. Vance on the secure line. "JD, You hear about this. That weasel Stephanopoulos tried the same crap on me he pulled on you last week. A border lies, tape nonsense. We're fighting back. Big leak. Vance, from his Senate office overlooking the Capitol dome, chuckles darkly, recounting his own This Week showdown where George hammered him on Homan's alleged bribe, cutting him off mid-sentence like a bad haircut. Boss, it's the same playbook of deep state desperation, but you, storming off Fox, legendary. The base is eating it up. Indeed, by the time Trump's convoy hits the George Washington Bridge, Truth Social is ablaze. Supporter accounts with millions of followers repost the clip, overlaid with eagle graphics and anthemic soundtracks, captions screaming Trump OWNS the swamp. Engagement metrics skyrocket to likes in the tens of millions, shares cascading like dominoes. Meanwhile, in the ABC News war room, Stephanopoulos sips black coffee, reviewing raw footage with producers, a faint smile cracking his stoic facade. He cracketed "It's the money shot," an editor notes, zooming in on Trump's flushed jowls, the vein throbbing like a telltale heart. Network brass high-five. This crossover coup, engineered as a balanced debate segment, has delivered Emmy bait. Ratings pour in overnight. Fox spikes 40%, ABC's rebroadcasts double. Even neutral outlets like PBS see upticks from curious normies dipping toes into the fray. Punditry explodes across the spectrum. On The View, Whoopi Goldberg cackles, Donald's tantrum, chef's kiss for accountability. While on Hannity's primetime revenge slot, guests like Matt Gaetz froth, George is a Clinton zombie, invading Fox like a virus. A time to quarantine. ABC, Trump's inner circle convenes virtually en route. Ivanka suggests a measured statement, Jared pushes for influencer outreach, but Don Jr. wins with Go Nuclear. A rally in Florida tomorrow, Make It About Media Tyranny, by Mar-a-Lago's Gilded Gates. Trump's already dictating tweets to an aide, Fox let a loserina big mistake, but I won anyway. America first, always, #drain the swamp too. The Post, hammered out on his iPhone amid palm fronds swaying in the Atlantic breeze, ignites fresh fervor. Across the country, reactions ripple. In Rust Belt diners, truckers slap tables over pancakes, toasting Trump's spine. In coastal cafes, baristas scroll TikToks mocking the orange meltdown. Lattes forgotten. Congress stirs a House oversight schedules an emergency hearing on media manipulation in elections, with subpoenas flying for Homan and FBI leakers. Senate Majority Leader Schumer seizes the narrative. Trump's rage masks guilty. We demand answers on that tape. But McConnell, stone-faced as ever, counters. Partisan theater. The president's valor in walking away speaks volumes. The scandal's Korea. The Homan tappy unravels in slow motion. Leaked transcripts, first surfacing on MSNBC, capture the border czar's gravelly voice. 50 grand, for what? Expedited processing, cash talks, Sharia. But make it official. Agents, posing as logistics moguls hungry for ICE contracts, dangle the dough in a nondescript D.C. hotel suite. Hidden cams rolling. Homan's defenders cry entrapment, claiming context omitted. The bribe was bait for a larger cartel sting, not personal graft. Trump, briefed by loyalists, seizes this thread, weaving it into his counter-narrative during a midnight Fox phone-in with Laura Ingraham. Laura, it's a hoax. FBI plants, edited like the Russia collusion farce. Homan's the best without him. Borders bleed. Stephanopoulos, a puppet for Pelosi and her cronies. Ingraham nods on air, her blonde bob bobbing like a metronome. Absolutely, Sear. The left's desperate as midterms loom. Viewership crests 10 million, edging out NFL overruns. But cracks show. Anonymous White House sources whisper to Axios that Trump's fury stems less from the accusation than the venue of Fox, his bulwark, breached by an ABC interloper. He felt betrayed. One aide leaks, like Judas at the table. Stephanopoulos, fielding calls from old Clinton-era pals, demurs. I asked fair questions. He chose to bail. That's on him. His measured response. OnlyFans flame as a Trump retorts via proxy on Newsmax. Fair? The guy's a hack. Remember 2016, when he fact-checked me into oblivion? Same slime. The feud personalizes. Digs at Stephanopoulos' Greek heritage morph into Stephanopoulos chants at rallies, while George counters in op-eds for The Atlantic. Walking away isn't winning, it's weakness. Media watchdogs weigh in. Affair calls it elite infighting distracting from real issues, while MRC tallies bias hits at 87% against Trump. Social algorithms amplify extremes. Cannon corners spin Homan as a white hat warrior exposing deep state pedos, while progressive pods label the whole affair authoritarian cosplay. As dawn breaks over D.C., ethics watchdogs file complaints. A crew demands Homan's resignation, branding him Trump's Teflon fixer. The president, golfing at Bedminster despite the din, texts Melania, "Crazy dive but we're unbreakable." She replies with a heart emoji, "Ever the anchor." By noon, a counterstrike launches. Trump hosts a media accountability forum on Rumble, live streaming to bypass censors, railing for 2 hours on corrupt colluders. Donations pour in. $5 million in 24 hours for his PAC, fueled by the faithful. Stephanopoulos guests on Late Night with Seth Meyers, trading barbs with aplomb, storming off. It's like if Hannibal Lecter left because the Chianti was warm. Laughter ensues, but beneath, unease simmers. Is this sustainable? The Fourth Estate, fractured, questions its role. Provocateur or punching bag? Trump's gambit pays dividends. Short-term polls tick up among independents weary of gotcha TV, but long shadows loom. If Homan falls, it cascades as immigration hawks scatter, midterms teeter. As evening falls, Fox airs a mea culpa special, Unfiltered, the Trump Walkout, featuring clips, context, and contrition from Hannity. We value tough talk, but that crossed lines. Ratings, through the roof. In living rooms nationwide, families debate over dinner, hero or hothead. The answer, as ever, depends on the lens. Yet in this vortex, a silver lining glimmers. A raw dialogue, however brutal, beats scripted silence. Trump's storm off, ugly as it was, cracked the facade, forcing reckonings on corruption's cost. As we peel back more layers, remember, power unchecked breeds monsters, but scrutiny, however stinging, keeps them leashed. This chapter closes, but the book, wide open, pages flipping toward November's unknown.